we only picked him up like, I don't know, three
All
thirty.
right.
So
We are streaming live again, guys. I know a lot of you thought that we would not be back, but we are back live with the Blame Girl podcast with,
Mr. Terry Wayne.
and we got Brett Morris in the house,
How's it
guys.
going?
You know it's about to
Am I
be.
am I your first guest coming back?
Yeah, you're our
Oh,
Yes.
first coming.
this thing is really going downhill.
It
Oh my
has been
gosh.
for 5 years. No, but
Because
we came back because we couldn't stay away
oh,
after everything that's been going on. And yes, we're back with the Blame Girl podcast. Got Brett in the house. Brett, what you been up to? How was your, couple of months? We usually go last weekend. How was your weekend?
oh, dude, I've had some good shows coming up for the last weeks or so. I recently had a birthday that was like 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yes.
Now, 4th of July was awesome. Had a good time.
Yeah.
Nothing really too big to complain about.
What's the height comedy wise of your last couple of weeks?
No, we did a birthday roast for me for my 40th birthday. Yeah, that was really fun. Had a good time.
Um, what was the funniest joke?
Oh, Jesus. So many good ones. My funniest joke or the funniest one to me?
No, just the funniest one of the night.
Yeah, the funniest one of the night.
Uh, I wanna say my favorite joke of the night was telling Nico Bowling that I hope his comedy career works out because Poland is not ready for another failed artist who's anti-Semitic.
Okay, but what about the best joke told about you, right?
Hmm.
He can't think of one.
Yeah, I was kind of drunk.
He just know his jokes. Just like
Yeah.
a comic.
Yeah, I really prepared for my jokes.
Terry, what have you been up to during this hiatus?
Well, I left my job uh and got a new one. It all worked out. Because I'm actually making more money now by a good margin, which is great because the pregnancy's going well. We got to do a full anatomy scan this past week. So right now everything's looking good. Two arms, two legs, fingers, toes, head, no cleft palates, So as of right now, I mean, I'm
If
still
it did, it
worried.
don't matter. That don't matter.
I'm still scared to death, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
no, it doesn't. That's my number one thing is just to have a healthy kid. You know, I've never tried to raise a kid with medical issues, but my sister's done it 3 times now, and it's not fun. You know,
Three times?
yes, my niece has coloboma. My nephew's autistic, and then we thought the youngest one had dodged all the bullets until this past January when it turns out type 1 diabetes. So, she's
Damn.
faced a lot of challenges, and
Yeah,
I'm worried that I am not as strong as she is. So,
that's a lot
yeah,
of insurance, you know?
it is. It is. Luckily, they got good insurance, so they made good choices. So,
Well, I've been up to the same old, just out here hitting these streets, doing comedy. I don't really have anything super. Oh, the biggest thing that I have to mention is I was on a roast where 50 Cent showed up. One
That
of
was
the
in Miami, right?
Yeah, that was in Miami. Brittany Brave, she's Miami's darling, comedy darling. She had considering everything that's been going on with P. Diddy, she had a P. Diddy roast. She's a survivor of domestic violence, and so she did a roast for charity. Somehow got connected with 50 Cent. He came for the roast, and that was like kind of like the highlight of my comedy. Like I
I
can't.
assume 50 Cent or P. Diddy didn't show up.
I was scared. I was scared, but he did not show up. I was like,
He can kick the shit out of people in a bath towel. That's fucking
I was like,
wild.
this nigga the type to show up. But luckily 50 Cent was there to protect us and he did not show up. So
I don't know. I've never seen somebody beat somebody up in a towel around their waist.
it was, I mean, I want to
It
see
was
him.
impressive.
I want to see him do it to a man. That's what I want to say. No, I don't. I don't like stop the violence, P. Diddy Love or Daddy, whatever you call yourself now. But nonetheless, yeah, so that was like probably the highlight of what's happened to me during our hiatus. And we are back. We are gonna give you content when we feel like it. How about that? And so we feel like it now because so much has happened. I mean, you have the debates, that was crazy. You have
Wild month.
former president that's running getting allegedly getting shot. We'll get into that. And then you have a
Allegedly.
I don't believe he got shot. That's what I mean, allegedly. Anyway, and then we have a sitting president that is not going to be running for president and stepping down from that position.
What? Who?
We'll get into that. I thought I sent you the show prep, so
It's not the first time this has happened.
he's just acting like anyway.
I know.
You mean Joe's not gonna go?
No.
Okay.
Not Golden Joe.
All right. So, and the first topic is, Terry, how dare you question my use of the word alleged? What is the truth behind Trump's assassination attempt? We don't agree. Who's to blame?
QAnon and every other stupid flat Earth conspiracy theory that plagues our society
QAnon
right
did
now.
not come up with that. Anyway,
No.
The Democrat version of QAnon is Blue Anon, and that's what she just joined. She is now a conspiracy theorist, and I would like to welcome Gio to the club.
I'm not even a conspiracy theorist.
I don't know. You said it was allegedly.
You just said allegedly.
I have two eyes. Like, I saw what happened. I saw him with that fake WWE blood that he slapped on it. He didn't get shot by an AR-15 in the air.
Hey, you know who you should tell this to?
You're the one that's...
You know who you should tell this to?
Your intelligence.
The family of the guy who got killed behind him by those bullets that missed. You should tell him that this is all just a Sandy Hook thing. You know, maybe you could end up giving $60 million.
That's what I've been saying. I'm like, why isn't anyone talking about the crisis actors? Because you know they'd be doing it if it was any other shooting. So I don't care, Terry. Like, if he sacrificed that man's life for that fucking show, that's on him. All right, Brett. Brett, no.
I just didn't want to be part of that clip if it ever gets clipped. I was just trying to move out of frame a little bit.
It's not that wild.
Come on. Just explain to me, make it make sense. Come on. All right. So Trump was like, hey, I'm doing great. Joe Biden just fucking flopped in the debate. I'm killing it right now. What could
winning
make
in the polls
even more better? An assassination attempt. Is that where we're going?
Yeah.
So
he was already leading.
The kid is a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
And he's such a good shot that he was willing to sacrifice his life to shoot Trump in the ear at the exact moment.
No. He never really shot a gun.
But there's like 3 people that got hit.
Yeah.
Where did those bullets come from?
That's what we don't know.
Oh.
Well, plus the kid is dead too. So,
so his gun was not loaded with any real ammo. That's what you're saying.
I don't know how they did it, but I know
no, it isn't. First of all, he was leading in the polls. Why even do any of this? He was already leading. It's not like he was trying to make some big thing.
You gonna tell me there wasn't no WWE bullshit?
No, the
WWE bullshit was at the convention.
There was one, the last election cycle, there was one where they did pull something like that. But it wasn't like that. There was one guy who rushed the stage when Trump was on stage. And then they later claimed that he had connections to ISIS, which he did not. But that one came out because everything comes out.
So now y'all believe the story they're telling after that.
Yeah, the dead bodies are pretty convincing.
It's not like I find it above him to actually kill people for his goal. Okay. I don't think he values human life at all. And I think his supporters are fanatic enough to either be in on it. I don't know how it was done, but I do not fucking buy it. I don't think he got hit.
You better stop slipping on banana peels.
And the fact that he had blood to smear on his ear means
that was just his blood.
You think an AR-15 would wouldn't
Would
like,
draw blood? Yes, I think it would draw
If
blood.
if it grazed him, yeah. If it grazed him, and that was
you
the other
don't
thing.
think it would
So I
mangle
heard
his
somebody.
ear? Like, what are you
No, he's missing part of his
That's
ear
where the
now.
blood came from. The
Then
mangled
why
ear.
won't he produce the records to show us exactly what happened? You know why? Because he
What do you
can't.
mean?
Why,
No,
why,
I'll tell you
why
what
do
I
you want
am
the picture
interested.
so much? Is
I'll
it
tell you
just
what I
because you
am.
enjoy any?
Why was he wearing nothing when he was golfing and then the big maxi pad at the thing? Like,
I don't know
Well,
what the thing is.
he
Listen,
went golfing
listen.
before the
All right.
and
All
and
right.
he did
Well,
not
you follow him way closer than I
he
did.
did not have a bandage on his ear, is all I'm saying.
All right. InfoWars, take it easy. Okay.
These
No,
conservatives, they just buy anything. I don't know.
he's confirmed it. Who confirmed it?
What?
I said these conservatives, they just buy anything.
Okay. I mean, you got to stop slipping on banana pills before I throw you in the truck and get you the help you need, because there's no way that any of that is true. It's not a stage. It's not a coup. Here's the problem. The problem with somebody like him is that he incites so much feelings and so much fervent actions that this was always going to happen. I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner. Once you get people's emotion involved, look at it back in, what was it, 2017, when the guy had all the bombs that he was sending to Democratic leaders. And then when they found his van in Miami, it was just plastered wall to wall with Trump stuff. Like, this is the kind of stuff you bring out of crazy people when you get them all crazy, you know? It's just,
Yeah,
I'm
I agree
surprised.
with Terry on this. There's so much divisive rhetoric around Trump that if you keep calling him Hitler and he's going to end democracy, and somebody
You don't think he's trying to do that? Like,
no, but if you keep saying that, people are going to be like, "Oh, I got."
what do you call someone who does not want to resign, and that causes
I'm sorry. Was he president for the last 4 years?
and causes an insurrection on their way out? He's been
Well,
president.
Well,
Really?
Brett,
Just a lot of gun-toting Trump supporters showed up at the Capitol and forgot to bring their guns.
No,
Got it.
They
Insurrection.
didn't. They were on the other
guns,
side of the river
yeah, they weren't
because they
weren't
wouldn't let
legal.
them bring them in. You can't.
All
have
right.
them.
Yeah.
How are you going to overthrow the government with no guns?
Well,
They
at the time, having a gun in Washington D.C. was a Class A felony. Just possessing it, even if it was legal. They weren't trying to overthrow the government. They were trying to disrupt the certification, which is the same thing. But he's right. He's right in the way that
Is that not destroying
Biden,
democracy? Like,
yes, it is. But by disillusioning a population and by sowing fear and doubt in our institutions, yes, that is another way. And I'll tell you how I know that's a way to topple a democracy, because we, the United States government, have done it several times in South America and the Middle East. We've used those very same CIA tactics to topple governments, yes. But he's right in the fact that Joe Biden's been president for the last 4 years or 3 years. But he's also wrong in the fact that Trump has still not conceded, nor has he told his supporters that he lost the election, nor will he ever.
And what is that gained him?
I just told you.
He's still not president. He still has no political
What did I just say about
do anything?
What did I just say about
conceding is like a formality?
Doubt? What did I just say about sowing doubt in governmental institutions so that the people will take over the country for you, and you get to keep your hands clean? It's a very old tactic. We've been using it since like the 30s.
It hasn't been working for quite a while.
Do you think that's good for democracy?
Tell that to Saudi Arabia.
Do you think that's good for democracy?
I think our democracy was stolen a long time ago.
Oh, okay. But do you think that's good for democracy?
What's good for democracy? Joe Biden going on through the primary with no primaries.
Deflecting from answering the question.
There's a whole lot of not good for democracy.
Do you think what Trump did after he lost the election by not conceding and still not conceding?
I think it had zero effect.
That is good for democracy.
I think it had zero effect on democracy.
Okay. All right.
But in a democratic republic, which we are, he still left office on the day he was supposed to, and Joe Biden took the office. So
but it was
And
after.
So
has
you're
been-
saying,
and has been
so you're
president
saying,
this entire time.
It's after after he caused an
so
insurrection.
wait, you're saying
not
it's no big deal because we didn't have to physically drag him out.
He tried to hang his vice president. He tried to have his followers hang his vice
He
president.
tried to hang
Well,
him.
no, they did.
Did
They
he
did
drag
that
him
all.
outside?
He wouldn't have done it himself,
No.
of course.
They,
but
they did it all on their own.
It was
You know how I know that?
It was a nice big show. Your fucking dog loves me. I don't know what.
I know. Or
Do you know how I know he didn't do it?
He's all
Because
over
they
my leg.
actually, because they constructed a gallows, and there's no way Trump's picking up a
Did you
hammer
ever
or a saw.
see the proportion?
Why are you
picture of
stepping
that
on my
gallows?
punchline?
Like you would have to hang a midget in that thing. It was
Okay, but again, why are you
it
stepping
was
on my
completely
punchlines?
impractical.
You still haven't answered why you're stepping on my punchlines. But
Oh, I didn't know you had a punchline. I thought you were asking me a question.
No, go
Because
ahead.
I tried to ask her a repetitive question about what's good for democracy. Is it good for democracy that Joe Biden is now saying he's not going to run after they had no primaries, and now they're just going to decide based on the delegates at the convention who is going to be the Democratic presidential nominee?
I think if they follow,
We've done it before.
What rules? The rules is we have a primary and everyone gets a
No.
chance to debate.
but there's
Nope.
rules set up.
You're
in-
absolutely wrong about this. We've done it before when Lyndon B. Johnson decided not to run again after Kennedy got shot and LBJ took over. They did the exact same thing in Chicago when they had the DNC.
Biden just got shot. When did he get shot? It's the same
What?
thing.
Wait, is your
What?
hearing aid?
No.
missing?
Yeah, it's
Listen.
working. He said we
Okay,
had this
okay.
exact same thing when Kennedy got shot. That's a very different situation.
You're
Well,
skipping
when you
a
twist this
big.
stuff, it would
No.
make
You're skipping a big chunk of what I said. I said LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson, who was president after Kennedy got shot. He became president. He fulfilled the rest of the term, and then they didn't have a primary. The delegates decided who their candidate was going to be at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. Okay, I don't want to be on either one of your sides, but we are going to get the facts right.
You think it was very good for democracy that the people in the Democratic Party didn't get to vote?
Well, here's my question to you,
my
Brett.
point is,
Why
no,
are you
he's
so
asking
upset?
me. Let me
Why
get
are
in-
you upset about this?
let me get in here.
Hmm.
I think that there's procedures set up for if this happens, and if they follow those procedures, then that's part of democracy. I think when you don't follow procedures in place, and you try to go rogue, then if they tried to shove Michelle Obama down the Democratic Party's throat like they've been trying to, that would probably be fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I think this makes the most sense. She was gonna be his vice president anyway. Like, I think this is just fodder to complain about the Democrat Party. Now that the Democrat Party has gone ahead and satisfied these requirements about age, which they won't even satisfy in their own party. So now y'all have to find something else. And now it's like, oh, y'all didn't even pick her. Why do you, like Terry says, why do y'all even care? You're libertarian.
Well, I can tell you why.
You're not-
I can tell you why.
You're not gonna vote for Kamala.
I can
Yeah,
tell
but if
you.
there was an open primary, there might have been someone else in the Democratic Party I would have voted for.
But there's not.
Well, we
Why-
were not
why
even
wouldn't there
supposed to be
be?
talking. Hang on,
Because
guys.
that was the whole plan the whole time, to keep whoever they wanted originally shielded until they were ready to transfer Joe Biden out. That would be my conspiracy theory, is that they had planned this the entire time. They didn't want an open primary. They didn't want to show how feeble Biden was, so that they would have to transfer him out back then where the primary would have been. And then now you have all this fodder and all this fire going on whoever they decided was going to be the nominee.
Why you're
How
so
can I add something
let
a
me
little
just say
more?
this. This
You
is why
just
you're
talked and then he
this
talked
is
and
why
I
you
just
were
sat.
so disingenuous, Brett, because you're acting like that's so much worse than a president that will not leave office, says they want to hang their vice president,
Who
and causes
didn't leave office?
an insurrection.
Who didn't leave office?
First
Who
of
are
all,
you talking about?
let's make
Go ahead,
some
Terry.
fact checks. Let's make some
I haven't
fact
seen a
checks.
president not leave office.
Let's make some fact checks. He did leave office. However, he did sow dissent in the American legal system, the American governmental system, and he still is doing it all the way to today in the RNC convention. Secondly, he never said hang Mike Pence. Never said it. His people said it on his behalf. Did he incite all that? Yes, he very much did. But he didn't actually say it because, again, like a mafia don, he keeps his hands clean. He lets other people
Violence
do
is
the dirty.
violence, okay?
Okay. All right. Now, let me tell you why Brett's upset over the fact that Biden's not running. For the same reason that every conservative group is upset that Biden's not running. Because Trump came back. He was losing by 6 points last year by October. Then he came back. Now he's leading. And I'm sorry to say this, Brett, but cheaters hate cheaters more than anybody else. They cheat all the time. And even if what you're saying is true and it was all a big conspiracy to wait until the last second and then put them up, that's a terrible idea because the American people like to get to know people. So now they're just going to be popping somebody in. Probably going to be Kamala Harris. America literally knows nothing about her. Nobody, I haven't heard word one from her since the first year of their administration. I haven't heard nor seen anything. I saw one interview earlier this year.
Let me just correct that record. I don't think that's true that America doesn't know anything about her. She's got
They can't even pronounce her name right.
She's got a comprehensive record.
What they know about
anyway,
her,
the point I was trying to get to was the conservatives knew that if Biden went up against Trump again, Biden was going to lose. And they hate the fact that they don't have Biden anymore. So that's why I just find it hilarious that for 3.5 years, I've had to listen to every Republican and every conservative scream about how terrible Joe Biden is. And then he goes, okay, I won't be president anymore. And they go, well, wait a second.
Yeah.
How would you feel if you won?
What you mean is they've been screaming about how demented and unqualified and how he can't even put sentences together. And while the media is telling us, no, he's sharp. He's sharp. He's so sharp. He's better, but you don't see it. It's behind closed doors that he's so sharp. And now he did so bad on the debates that they can't pretend that the emperor's new clothes are very fucking awesome. So they're like, good. Oh, now we have to finally let the cat out of the bag that he's demented.
Right. And do you know why that makes him a terrible
I hope you
candidate?
never get dementia.
It makes him.
I hope somebody would point it out way earlier.
They probably
Here's the thing.
It's hard to let go of driving, you know?
Here's the thing, Brett. I agree with what you're saying. I do not feel that he is fit to hold office. I also do not believe that Trump is fit to hold office for the very same reason on different ends of the spectrum. Trump is a rhetoric-spilling, violent-minded kind of dementia, and Joe Biden is the feebled old man kind of dementia. However, I will also say this on the converse side of that. Joe Biden makes a terrible candidate. But you know what he was pretty good at? Being president. Because if you look at the record and everything that was done, he spent less money and got more legislation passed. However, I don't think he did this because he's an awesome guy. He did it because he's feeble. And when the government runs and the figurehead just has to sit there and look pretty, and it allows the machine to run a whole lot better. I think a potato would be the greatest president in American history. Because then people just do their jobs. If you take the boss out of a workplace, you will alleviate so much pressure. And the employees tend to do a better job.
We need a dog president.
Yes, let's have a golden retriever. Let's elect a golden retriever
president.
That's right.
That was my joke for the last 3 years. I'm like, I did what we all should have done. I wrote in Harambe. How much better would we be with a gorilla as our president?
No, that's a terrible idea. He'd be tearing apart world leaders.
No, I was saying it's like my joke that I've been doing.
But no, gorilla's more like
yeah. You could teach a gorilla sign language. You can't teach Joe Biden how to communicate. He's gone. He's done.
Yeah, but he would also tear the arms off Angela Merkel, you know?
So the truth behind Trump's assassination attempt is that we may never know. So
what is more
well, we burned 2 articles on that one because then we went to who's going to replace Joe Biden.
Yeah, we put them all together.
No, we have not. No, we got a lot more to go on the Biden. But if you want to go,
what would be more likely, that Trump staged it, or that the secret security that basically works for the current president, delayed reacting to it long enough for the kid to get off the shot.
It was, I don't know, Brett. I just
Well,
know
I'll tell you
it
this.
was a Vince
Brett's right about
McMahon
this.
production, okay?
No. Brett's very much right about this, and they are going to be cleaning house.
That's Vince McMahon. I don't know.
The head of the Secret Service is definitely going to lose her job. Not to mention the funding for the Secret Service is going to go up because that's their statements is we didn't have enough people to put on the ground for that. The one thing I did find really super interesting about the whole assassination attempt is they didn't rush him off the stage. He stayed there for
Like, let me get my
30.
shoe.
Can I finish?
No, I'm talking about before the shot.
Hang on. For 25 to 30 seconds, even after the shots rang out, they huddled around him, but that's not procedure. Procedure is you huddle around him and you get out of here instantly. You know, you get out of here.
Get him
you get
off
out
the
of the line of
ground
danger.
onto his feet first.
They will physically carry him out if they have to.
But you had too many 4'5" women around him to carry him off.
That may be the case.
Too many DEI diversity hires in the Secret Service to get him off the stage.
Well,
I say like we kick all the men out of America. This is some bullshit. Okay.
Well, listen to me.
The fact that
let me
you would even say that, no, that is not the problem.
Brett.
Did you watch the woman trying to put the fucking gun back in the holster? Did you not watch it at all?
Look real. I don't make Brett look real silly here. Reagan got shot.
Hey, Terry, your mic's breaking up a little bit.
Okay. Well, Reagan got shot in the 80s when it was all 6'4" dudes. Okay. So you can try and be 100% protected, but you'll never be 100% protected.
And let me say this about when they shot Reagan. The shooter was taken alive, and we've got to find out that he was only shooting him because he was in love with Jodie Foster. I would have loved to find out what this guy was doing, but you know what? Dead men tell no tales. So
what is so weird?
You know what he was doing. Everybody knows what he was doing. He's an outcast loner, and instead of shooting up school or a church, he said, "I'm going to aim a little higher and try to take out the biggest man in politics."
This 20-year-old that's supposedly into coding and video games, but has no social media presence at all.
Thank you.
That's very weird. It's almost like his name is Patsy McPatserson.
It's so weird. It's weird. And then,
well, if he's a patsy, then she's right, and it was because it wasn't the Democrats.
The fact that they didn't rush him off the stage makes me feel like it was a game. It was they are gassing us.
No, what's even weird before that is that the kid was seen acting weird at the metal detector.
They didn't stop him.
They noticed him. They marked him down as a person of concern. He walks away. The people inside the building that he got on, where there were snipers stationed inside the building, not on top, they saw him through the window at one point, and I guess supposedly called it in. They took a picture of him at some point, but he was then able to get on top of the building where some other officer at some point was lifted up and saw him. The kid turns his gun on him. The guy lets go of the building, comes off. And this whole time, there's not been a radio signal to get Trump off the stage as a guy with a gun on a roof.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I know for sure. I know that at the time of the incident and all the way until January of next year, the Congressional House is run by Republicans. And there is no way that this does not get its own special committee to investigate it. I mean, they investigated Benghazi 6 times.
No, they were,
and that was.
They had investigations going on today.
Yeah, I know that.
Oh.
So if they investigated
Benghazi director lady, and she was not like sitting down and not putting in her resume.
No, she's gone. All the upper level COs, they're all gone after an event like this. So you don't get to keep your job. But no, if they investigated Benghazi 6 times, which was the biggest nothing burger of a scandal ever, you're telling me an attempted assassination of a former U.S. president isn't going to get all the investigations, and they'll be run by Republicans. which is good because then you can't do the whole conspiracy theory thing.
Well, yeah, they're probably going to try to campaign on it for sure. They got to use
Definitely.
everything they can.
Did you see what he said? He's like,
That's already
he said,
happened.
"What did you do for democracy?" I took a bullet for democracy. That's what this nigga said. I cannot.
Well, that's already
You didn't
happened.
take a
They're already
bullet. It didn't even hit you. And then
it did. It
no,
did. And
but why did they say it was glass and there's no glass? Like this
they're already campaigning on it because if you looked at the Republican, if you looked at the Republican National Convention, what was everybody wearing? Cowboy hats and little bandages on their ear for solidarity. You know what I mean? It's already a campaign
let's move
thing.
on.
No.
Y'all,
Let's talk about more fun things.
There was a global outage, and I almost ate my pet's food. Who's to blame? Why a global tech outage?
Apparently, it's just CrowdStrike, from what it sounds like.
So it's just that cut and dry. CrowdStrike.
Well, I think what it did show.
They're the company that runs like all these softwares. They like oversee them at some point. And also, CrowdStrike is the same people that they hired to do the dossier back in the Steele dossier. That was the people that Hillary Clinton hired. I thought that was a weird connection.
Yeah.
Nobody's really saying anything about.
Well, I don't know why they would do that. This wouldn't help the Democrats. This would only hurt them. But so I don't find the connection to be weird because when you talk about all these, whenever you talk about these big multinational corporations, everybody's got their fingers in the pie because they don't really care about all this politics and political shit that you and I and everybody talk about. They care about one thing and one thing only. They know the source of true power, and it's money. That's it. And if you've got the money, because if you've got the money, you've got the power. I don't care how many people vote for you or don't vote for you. It's all about the money. I do find it interesting.
How does money relate to this?
No. I brought this to the table because I think it's fascinating that everybody got a wake-up call on exactly how fragile our system really is right now. That one company can have one problem and the entire global community goes down overnight. That's insane.
I legitimately was like, this is it. It's about to start. The supply chain disruption, president stepping down. I was scared, but then
I think this was the beginning of the fire sale.
My order was delivered, so it was fine.
You were thinking this was the beginning of the fire sale, everything was going out?
I thought like
I didn't even notice it.
Who am I gonna join up with at the end?
Like,
I like that he said fire sale.
Like I didn't have my computer on, my work computer wasn't affected.
Yeah.
So I didn't even notice that the thing went down.
I didn't.
I like that Brett said fire sale because that tells me he's watched Lethal Weapon 4.
That's
the only
that one of the diehards.
Yeah, or sorry, Die Hard 4. Yeah, Live Free or Die Hard.
The internet, the communications.
That was the only time they've ever used that terminology to express this. But yes, it is a way. In fact, they just did it recently in another movie where they pulled the same trick, where it was like they were trying to take down the U.S. and this was the point. What was it?
Was that the bombing of the gas company?
No, that was Leave the World Behind, which was
that was a good movie.
It was that's what that
I was talking about a real event where like some hackers took out what was it, a gas line?
No, they did this and Leave the World Behind.
No, I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking
he's talking about a real thing.
Was it Colonial Pipeline? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
There was like a lot of fuel distribution center that got hacked and they wanted Bitcoin.
I don't know.
I think
that's a lot. No, I don't know.
Well, that's a different thing. They call that cyber hostage or something like that, because they don't just do it to gas companies. They do it to hospitals. Get hit a lot with that, where they literally just take over your computer system, and then, like Brett said, they demand Bitcoin, which is untraceable. They demand that you send it to their accounts. And that's all it is. It's a ransom. They hold your software ransom so you can't use it. And then they threaten to delete it.
So is this a problem with like a monopoly type situation?
I mean, I think it definitely shows that the free marketplace needs to be a little re-ramped, or I mean, a little retooled and ramped up quite a bit. I mean, this is why we have antitrust laws, so that no company can get big enough to threaten the government.
Yeah.
Which I say Amazon is already there. You know, if Amazon decided to start building tanks and drones, I think they got a real shot. You know,
I'll work for Amazon. Give me my dog.
because
Like,
they're not the US is not going to nuke itself, you know. So
Yeah.
it's going to be it would be a ground war between us. Like if Amazon and Walmart got together and said, "Hey, let's overthrow the government." They'd honestly have a pretty good shot.
Yeah, especially if they put in Apple. Everyone's got Apple phones. Hey, if you don't do what we want, we're going to shut down your phone.
I don't know, because let me just say this: the Walmart workers are subsidized by the government, so they might not want to do that. Like,
Well, that
Well, but
they're
if the
not
rest of your paycheck
subsidized.
disappears, you might.
yeah, it's like you can't do that to Walmart employees because they get paid by both y'all. So you lucky.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
When
do.
they say that when they say they're subsidized, what they mean is they're either collecting food stamps, welfare, or Medicaid
Because they don't pay
because
them.
they're under the poverty level. Yes.
I know what it
But-
means. Thank you for mansplaining that.
Okay. Well, subsidized
I
does
thought it
not
was going to be
mean
me
what
that
you
got the
just.
first mansplaining.
No,
You
subsidized.
don't know me and
that's not-
Terry's relationship, okay?
Subsidized is when the government hands you a check to cover your losses. It's what they do with
Yeah.
farmers. It's a cheap word. That's all.
Okay, Terry. Thank you.
You might as you could just say that Walmart employees are indigent and they need the government services to live.
Okay. This is interesting. A beach town in Spain is fining people for being rude.
I love this so much,
Who's
and I
the
think we
guy?
should adopt.
Why
I think
is
we
he
should
doing
adopt it
this?
here.
Is it?
Well,
Let me
did
guess,
you guys
too many
read the article?
Americans are visiting. And
No. Did you read the article at all? Anybody? No. All right.
It's douchebags regardless of what country you're from.
That's right. It's regardless of whoever, but basically they were holding spots on the beach, and then they were holding multiple spots for the beach. And then tourists came in and they said, "Hey, you got to hold a spot." So then they started doing it. And they said the Spanish government in that town said, "No, no more. It's now 275 euros if you do it." And like I said, I think we should adopt that mentality here. Okay. And I think we should start with the people who hold their cell phone right here and then they talk really loud on it in public. Yeah. We need to start that.
So you
We
mean
need to
black
have
people?
fines for that.
Is that
And
what
we
you're saying?
also need to
That's what I said.
have fines for these younger kids that feel like it's totally okay to play their music very loudly and then sing openly as they walk down the street with no shame.
And why does it always sound like boom, 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 boom?
Because they can't sing and it's awful. It's noise pollution.
Again. Racist again.
Yeah.
I
No,
can't.
the last person I heard it do it was Leonard Skinner, so pretty sure that's not racist.
No, but they do that at resorts too, where like you wake up at like 7 in the
Awful.
morning, and as soon as they open the gates to the pool, like you just see fucking people scatter like roaches, throwing towels and blankets on beach chairs so they can reserve them for themselves. It's just fucking obnoxious, and they don't come back till after breakfast, so like 9 o'clock, and so they just got like their stuff out there, just hogging a spot. And I'm like, I'll fucking throw your towel in the pool. I'm like, I don't know where it went. Fuck off.
Meanwhile,
Essentially-
you're fasting. You don't even eat breakfast. You got a spot.
Yeah, I've been drinking all night. I don't eat breakfast.
Essentially, I just think it's great that somebody is actually starting to make laws against being a douchebag. And as I said, I think we need to adopt it here nationwide.
It's-
The anti-douchebag law.
It's really interesting that you would support this. All right.
Why? I like a quiet-
You as in Terry or me?
Either one of y'all. Right?
I like a quiet Sunday afternoon, and I don't like people who come into an apartment complex late at night with music blaring as if people and babies aren't sleeping.
Yeah,
Like,
but the
come
thing
on,
is,
man.
I think
Get your shit together.
it's like you can let ye who is without sin cast the first stone. You know what I mean?
No, I don't want him to
Eric,
cast a stone.
come
I want
on.
him to give a ticket. I
No,
want him to give a ticket.
I go to the
I feel-
beach and get a spot when I get there. I
feel like
don't show up at 9 a.m. and stake out a spot and then go back home.
you're getting ticketed too, Terry.
That's fine.
Like-
If that's what it takes to get better, then so be it.
I've seen people in like parking lots just standing in an empty parking spot waiting for their friend to come back around. Dude, I will
Yes.
run you over. I'm here
Yes.
right now. I don't give a fuck where your friend is. Get the fuck out of the spot.
I agree. Listen,
That's
you look, you could say that, yes, I have my times to be an asshole when I need to be. What you can't take away from me is that I do not have manners, okay? Because I was raised to have manners. There are just certain things you do in a civilized society and things you don't do.
I don't know. It's more like just having a conversation with you sometimes. But nonetheless, let's move on. Okay.
Yeah.
Biden has dropped out of the race, as we mentioned earlier.
No.
What happens next? Who's to blame? Why did he drop out? And where do we go from here, guys?
I
Every
blame
Republican
Obama.
loses their minds.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Obama.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
Yeah, it's always
Telling him to drop
Obama.
out.
It is actually Obama's fault. All of this is everything from Trump to Biden to everything. It's all Obama's fault.
It was
Because
his
how?
third term anyway.
Because as soon as, yeah, right, he's windsurfing in Hawaii.
Don't you mean the Tea Party?
No, I don't. The Tea Party was a direct reaction to us electing a young, charismatic black man to the highest office of the land. And every right-wing conservative I've ever known in my life lost their shit.
Wait, so you
And
gonna
then
victim
all of
blame?
a sudden,
You gonna victim blame? You gonna blame
No,
Obama
no.
for that?
no,
It's the Tea
no.
Party fault.
Did I blame him? No. I said it's his fault. I didn't say he shouldn't have done it. I said it's his fault. I didn't vote for him the first time because I felt like John McCain should have been president. I feel like he earned it by staying in that tiger cage for 5 years. But I did vote for him the second time because I liked the stuff he was doing. So I go back and forth. I voted for exactly the same amount of Republican presidents as I have for Democratic presidents. I'm truly
No,
an
you're a
independent.
spineless moderate. It's fine. Okay?
Nope. I'm just
Take
not
a position.
I'm not a brainwashed leftist, and I'm not a brainwashed
Brainwashed?
right winger. Right winger.
I am just guided by what's right on my heart.
Really? Then why are you yelling at me for being 50-50 on president?
Because it's
Besides,
silence.
It sounds like you're taking the
Silence
actual
is fine.
issues into account and voting for no Democrat or Republican to based
And
on
besides,
who is the better.
He just votes
I
like
u-
a
I used to have
Oh,
I used to have this political philosophy that I thought was brilliant, which was I'm voting for Republicans for federal positions like president and vice president, but all the people down ballot that actually control my district and my state, I would vote Democrat because Republicans don't spend money, but Republican or Democrats do. Where do I want them to spend the money? Throughout the whole country? No, right where I live. You know what I mean? Spend the money where I'm at.
It seems like they end up spending the money anyway.
That's dumb.
Okay, then it's dumb, I guess.
That was dumb. That was a dumb. Okay, but
No,
so
it's not
Biden,
dumb. It's selfish.
Biden has dropped out. What
Yeah.
are we gonna do next? Biden has endorsed Kamala. That's how you say her name, like Kamala. Okay, Kamala. Biden has endorsed her. She seems to be like gonna be the candidate. Are we, are we supporting?
We're
Kamala?
not.
I know
We're
I
not. We're not going to know
am.
that until the
Fuck
first.
that other nigga. I can't stand him. Okay.
Until the end of the first week, beginning of the second week of August is when we'll know who their candidate's going to be. They're not going to come out right and just say anything. However, if it is Kamala Harris,
If they gonna do something else, they stupid.
I really think the Republicans should be getting a lot more nervous because as you sent me today, and I read that Newsweek article that Nikki Haley's pack of supporters has come out and said that they will be backing Kamala Harris. So,
Just like
which is crazy.
And
but,
actually acknowledges her heritage.
But hang on. There's something you didn't read in that article, obviously. which is the people that you're talking about that are now going to support Kamala Harris is the same group of people that said Nikki Haley supporters for Biden. They were already supporting Biden over Trump.
Oh, okay.
It's the vote blue no matter who people. They don't care.
No, Nikki Haley ain't no vote blue no matter who.
What? I'm talking about Kamala. The
Yeah,
people that
well,
are people that are jumping from Biden to Kamala are the I'm going to vote Democrat no matter what, blue no matter who.
I'm blue
We
no
don't
matter
care. It doesn't matter that she couldn't get one delegate in the primary when she ran, and that she was a diversity hire just to make Joe Biden look good. Nobody liked her. Nobody wanted her. She's
why do they have to
completely
like
who.
her?
awful.
Sandra Noir that's gonna go through the United States right
Yes,
now.
I'm very misogynistic because Tulsi Gabbard is the one that nuked her campaign. She brought up in the primaries how awful she was as a prosecutor in San Francisco, California.
No, these are narratives that are
And
we're gonna
destroyed her.
These are narratives that will be shot down going forward because all I've been hearing about Kamala Harris.
Oh, well, how dare you
I know, right?
misgender or misname her?
The only thing what I've been saying is she's more like a Detective Benson. If Detective Benson ran for president, bitch, you got my vote. Olivia Benson from SVU. She is very.
That's why I didn't get the reference. I don't watch SVU.
Well, I don't.
Wait, she's a very nurturing type of prosecutor. Yeah, she did prosecute people with drugs and this and that, but then she came back and did other stuff that helped them go to college, helped them get rid of their record, all this
like
stuff.
putting threatening to put parents in jail for truancy.
She prosecuted sex offenders. She gave help to people who were actually being trafficked instead of just treating them like they were.
People pass their sentence for cheap labor for the state of California for firefighting. Yeah,
Can you hear me?
she's fucking awesome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it just sounds like you're just.
It sounds like you just.
You're both. You're both.
I sound like she sucks. I don't like anything about her. I don't. I'm not gonna.
She's a woman.
I would not be down for voting for Montel Williams' side piece.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Terry.
I was just saying, like you mentioned, like nobody liked her. Yeah, why do you have to be liked? There's a lot of people nobody liked. You know who they didn't like? Theodore Roosevelt. Now he's on Mount Rushmore. Nobody liked him. In fact, they kicked him out of New York. They kicked him out of New York because he tried to reform the police department, and people didn't like it to the point where they just threw him out. Now he's one of America's greatest leaders. You don't have to be liked. You have to be qualified. And this is what ruins American politics. Okay.
Yeah, she sucks a lot of really qualified dick.
See, because then you talk and then he talks, and I lose my train of thought.
Well,
this is what ruins.
You were saying Roosevelt qualified. Go ahead.
I've gotten so much better at that. But yes, the fact that we have turned this into some high school, popularity contest is insane. We should be looking at who's the most capable, who's the most qualified, who has had the best track record. We shouldn't be electing just somebody who has never held a political office just because they're popular. I don't think Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson should be president either. We need somebody who's actually capable of doing a good job. And until we start doing that again, we're just going to lose. We've been losing this entire century so far because it didn't start. It didn't start. I'm saying she is, but she's also unlikable. Please refrain till the end. It started with George W. Bush. Dick Cheney wanted to have the power of the presidential office, but he didn't want to attach his name to it. So they just picked George Bush because if you'll remember, his whole thing was like, he's just a guy I could have a beer with. Yeah. Who gives a shit if you want to have a beer with this guy? You're not picking a best friend. You're picking your surgeon. You wouldn't pick him just because he's like the guy you want to have a beer with. You pick him because he's the best man for the job.
I'm gonna tell you what, I'm not gonna pick a racist or sexist surgeon if he's the best man. I'm not.
Well, then good luck.
Do you think if they had an open primary like normal, Joe Biden had already said he wasn't going to step down?
No.
And you would have maybe Marianne Williamson, I don't know, Gavin
Pete.
Newsom possibly.
No, it would have been Pete
Jr.
Buttigieg.
Who do you think Kamala Harris would have come out above any of them?
No,
Yeah,
Pete
because she
Buttigieg
would have
would
the
have, if they
support
would
of
have
the Democratic
primaried, it would have
Party.
been.
No. I'm saying, would she be better qualified in a primary?
Yes, she's been vice president already. What are you talking
Because
about?
she got picked to be
But
vice.
she's been
she
there.
Didn't
She's
win
qualified.
vice president.
See, there's
She-
all these
Well,
buts.
she's right.
Wait, no, let me get
She's
in
right
here.
on this.
We answer the questions. She's
Agreeing
qualified
here.
now. She has
Because she had a
she
title
has
that she was
resume.
given.
I don't give a fuck. She
I
got it.
guess you don't.
Well,
That's
she
what
wasn't-
you're gonna
she
push.
wasn't
She's fucking
given-
Kamala Harris.
She wasn't given, she was elected. Vice presidents are elected just like presidents are
Let me
elected.
just say
And if
this.
you
It's
if you
gonna be-
think
Was
they
not
don't make,
elected.
I'm gonna say
vice
this
president.
on my fucking
hey,
podcast.
we're gonna
Let me
disagree
get in
on
here,
that because
Terry. I'm serious.
hang on, let's answer
No,
this one question
it's-
first.
Yeah, no.
If you
it's
don't
my
think
turn.
a vice president, if you don't think that vice president matters, why don't you ask John McCain?
Maybe we don't,
because
because we can't even get in on our own show. To
because
say
Sarah Palin is the one who cost him that.
like I was trying to say, I'm fucking sick of men trying to act like, oh, this woman fucked her way to the top. No, she didn't. She's
Nobody said
qualified,
that.
motherfucker. He's over here saying it. What are you talking about?
Well, he's trying to
saying
get
it.
your
sucked a lot
goat.
of dick. That's why.
Yeah, I am
You're
saying
Why are you letting him get you going?
conservative talking points, Mr. Non-conservative. You're repeating conservative talking points. Stop addressing women's sexual history when they're running for office. That's none of your fucking business. Unless they raping people, that's our business. Don't elect those
Lorraine, wait,
motherfuckers in. I don't care if she's sucking dick. So am I. Maybe.
is Lauren
Don't
is
tell
Lauren
anyone,
Bo-
but
is Lauren Boebert jerking a guy off at the Beetlejuice thing? Is that something we should be talking about
it's
then?
fucking disgusting
It's-
behavior.
it's
Was
Because
she
I'm pretty
doing it
sure
to
we
get
all talked
elected? She
about
was already
that.
elected.
she was in public doing that, and that's why it's a problem.
Okay, but
I've been jerked
she
off
is
on a
right.
plane before.
Yeah,
I don't think she should
she-
hold office
And,
either.
and if you got caught, then it'd be out there for us to know. That's why we know it. It isn't
But Brett-
about
Brett, she
Kamala
is right.
did not do that.
She is right. Out of all the prospective candidates that have been tossed around, Kamala Harris is the one with the most experience on how to do the job. She just is, just from having her time as vice president.
Just like Joe Biden.
I would
Biden
say
got elected right after
the
he-
same. I would have said the same thing about Mike Pence. And I hate Mike Pence. I hate Mike Pence more than I hate Donald Trump.
I couldn't name you one thing Mike Pence did.
He didn't. But watching the
with that
boss
Supreme
watching
Court.
the boss do the job puts you light years ahead of not watching the boss do the job.
Yeah, she's like right there with him.
Plus,
ready to take
plus a
over.
vice president just doesn't sit around. They name a number of cabinet heads. They have to find parts of the administration.
Yeah,
like
she
you
was
don't
told
have
to
an
take care of the
administration.
border, and she
To act
told Lester Holt that, oh, we've been to the border. And Lester Holt goes, well, you haven't been to the border. She's like, well, I also haven't been to Europe. Like
We're
a
gonna get to
fucking
that.
idiot.
So,
We're about to get to the border.
That's just one thing.
all right. Nonetheless, I just think it's fucking ridiculous that white men are gonna come at her about her dick sucking. Y'all fuck off.
Does that mean that black men can come at her?
No.
about it?
They bet
I'll say
not.
so. It doesn't matter.
Then why did you add the
Charleston White.
qualifier?
And anybody that
Charleston
points,
White can go to hell because you know he out here talking about don't no black woman need to be running the country. She need to be cooking it in the bedroom. Shut the fuck up.
that
We-
is
we
dumb.
done with
I'm
that.
saying
We done with that.
it
We don't
doesn't. It
do-
doesn't matter if she's black or white.
You can be
I'm not
qualified
saying
and suck
it's
dick.
because she's black.
She
I'm saying
qualifies-
it's because she sucked her way to the top.
I don't think she did that. I
Okay.
think
Well,
that's-
you're gonna love
that's
this. Brett.
misogynistic. And go ahead.
Well,
Misogynistic.
I
And
was
just-
being misogynistic.
Yeah,
I was
it
just
sounds-
trying to spit some facts, but
That's
and
I don't-
just on your side, Gio, when you say that white men or even just men in general shouldn't be talking about this because you heard some people say some bad things about it. Now, what you are doing is you're taking a group of people, you're taking the ones that are representing the things you don't like, you're drawing a circle around them, and then you're treating the entire group like this circle, and that is the definition of racism.
Tell me more about how I'm a racist white man.
I'm not saying
This
you're a
is
racist,
so
but the
fun.
fact that you,
No,
the
I
fact,
love
that,
it.
the
he's
fact,
saying I'm
the
racist
fact that you threw
misogynistic
that,
by just pointing
the-
out random facts.
She just called me a racist, but
And
I
you're
didn't.
saying-
I
You're
said
saying
this
it's
is
because
the
I'm a white
definition.
man, but I said if it was a black man saying this to you, like say Byron Donalds or something. What would he be
No,
racist
black
too?
men do not like black women either. I just said that.
Okay, so it
That's
doesn't
why
matter
that's
what
why-
race they are. You were going to
Hang
say
on,
the
Brett.
same thing no matter what.
It's still
Brett,
misogynistic. I said it was
what
misogynistic.
what Brett is saying is, why did you throw in the qualifier of white men? If you were talking to a black man, would you have said black men?
Because it looks even worse to have a white man talking shit like that about
Why
a
is
It doesn't
that?
matter if it's a fact. It just matters that I'm white.
Do you
And-
have pictures or something? Like, how do you know it's a fact? Like, shut
Oh
up.
no, what he
call up-
said.
let's
No,
call
what he
up
said.
Governor
You know
Brown.
it's a fact. Like, I know that Trump faked the fucking shooting. Okay, how about
No,
that?
no.
How
What
about
Brett said was completely ignorant and completely stupid.
that?
Don't get me
I'm not
wrong.
gonna put
I'm
up
not.
with it during this election.
I'm not.
cycle.
I'm
You're
not.
not gonna
I'm not gonna.
default to-
I'm not defending. I think he's just trying to piss you off, and he's doing a good job at it. I think he's doing
in
it
my
on
goddamn
purpose.
house.
I think he's doing it on purpose to mess with you, but
He
also
invited me into her house, offered me pita bread and gin.
And then he talk about she sucked all these. Show me
well,
the
men
picture.
always do that because here's the thing. Guess who else slept his way to the top? John F. Kennedy, a Democratic president, and he slept everything with a pulse that moved. Did we judge him the same? No. Is that fair? No. Is that the way society works right now? Yeah.
This is what you forgot on this week. Donald Trump slept with 13-year-old girls.
Where's
That's
the
not-
photos? Show me the photos.
There's-
You racist.
There's court,
How dare you?
okay. There's court testimony, first of all. And
Court
I-
testimony
that
is
don't-
not evidence.
and I believe women. So, and
Oh.
I'm not. too
Well, you're
much-
wrong about that, Brett. Court testimony is absolutely evidence. It says
Yeah,
it right
I
in
think
it.
the legal-
Anything you say or anything you
part
say
of
or do can be
discovery.
used
No,
against
Okay,
you.
Brett.
no one's ever lied at a testimony in front of a court before.
especially our president.
I know, right?
All right.
No, he's guilty of all those things, but that's neither
Right.
here nor there.
I don't want to talk to Brett about politics no more. That was enough.
He's really gonna like the
Poked a
words
lot of
for white
holes in
people.
your theory, didn't I?
No, you didn't. You made me like
Mm.
you less. Like, all right.
I still don't see how Trump faked it, but whatever you want to tell
He
me.
I
didn't.
still don't
He
see
didn't,
how
Brett.
Kamala sucked
Nobody
a bunch of
faked
dicks
it.
to get to where she was. She had to get a
Uh,
fucking law degree. Had to
We'll
run
talk
for
to Governor
office.
Brown and
Like,
we'll see what he
shut
has to
up.
say.
Did she suck all
But-
the voters' dicks, or like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about?
You're both
Stop.
wrong.
Hey, if she
It
sucked
was
my dick,
Hear me
if
out.
she sucked my dick, maybe I would vote
This
for her.
is this is old school thinking. Don't say that shit out loud. Okay. All right, Brett. How long have you been doing comedy, and how did you start?
See, May would be 5 years, so just over 5. I started once I got a woman out of my life, because I'm a misogynist.
Yeah.
I'd always wanted to do comedy, and when I finally broke up with this gal that I was dating for a while, I had a lot of free time on my hands, so that was when I went to my first mic down in Fort Lauderdale.
So you just went. You knew to go to a mic.
Well, I looked up on Facebook or wherever it was
Yeah,
who was
like-
doing a mic, and it was a Sean Mullins mic.
Jesus. All right. So, but you knew that you needed to go to a mic to do comedy.
Well, I'd always been writing stuff down, but I never got around to doing it.
Mhm.
My first actual ever set that I ever did was actually in LA a few years before we broke up
Okay.
on Kill Tony at the Comedy Store.
While you were visiting,
Yes, we
Okay.
went for Christmas.
how did it go?
I did all right. I think I was mediocre first time.
Is that what inspired you to do comedy, Kill Tony?
No, I'd always been writing before I ever discovered Kill Tony. Because I always
Okay.
people was like, oh, you're funny, you should do comedy.
Because some people get into comedy after they find Kill Tony, and I feel
No.
like, are you really into comedy?
No, I
That's
was I
not-
was writing stuff down, kind of like thinking of doing comedy sets
Mm-hmm.
and just writing jokes down because if I don't write it down, I'll forget it.
Yeah.
And then eventually I found Kill Tony. And when we went to LA, I was like, I made an effort to go to the Comedy Store and try to get up.
Nice. Okay, so that was 5 years ago, or
That
back?
no, that was longer than before I started. It was probably Christmas of 2015, I
when
think
you
it
were
was.
still with that bitch.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was Christmas 2015, I think. If you want to look up the episode on Kill Tony, it's I always mess this up. It's 189. I always think 187 because of that lyric from Sublime. 187 on a motherfucking cop. but it's episode 180.
A sublime.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Sublime. 189 is the episode. I'm the very last person to get up.
It's not a sublime lyric. I mean, it is, but that's not
I'm
where
stuck on the sublime. You know that like NWA or somebody else had
It's
that.
not on
Yeah,
paper, it's on the wall.
Yeah, that
20
comes from my
2087.
time. That comes from my time. That's like 93.
All right.
That's NWA.
So since you've been doing comedy, what's become your favorite venue to perform at? And you cannot say
Improv,
Improvs.
how'd you know?
obviously. Because everyone
He's been here before.
I haven't heard the improv.
Well, no, it's just too easy. Too easy of a room.
Yeah.
You can't
You know
judge
what?
it.
Try to avoid one of your own rooms.
Okay.
Try to avoid that.
It's not functioning anymore at the moment, but one of my favorite rooms that we had for a little while was Brew's Room in Pompano. That was Nick Basics mic.
Yeah, that was.
And it was a nice little spot because it wasn't at a bar. It was in the side room off of the bar. So everyone that was in there was there for the comedy.
Yeah.
And it was super close to my place. So that was probably one of my favorite ones for a long time.
It's always nice when a mic has a crowd,
Yes.
an audience.
And there
that
was
you can
always a
try
fairly
and
decent
figure out.
crowd.
I hate that it quit, but they just,
Yeah.
you know, people, it's hard to keep these mics going if you feel like you're being treated unfairly or they don't want to pay for it anymore. So, all right. So, what have you?
Which, by the way, before we move on, while we're on the subject, that extreme sports place that you used to have, Jesse's Extreme,
No,
is that?
You used to have?
He still
Really?
has it.
Oh, I don't know.
You're just
I've been
assuming
living,
I already lost it?
He's not here. So
and I haven't been. I moved up here 18
You
months
don't
ago.
follow my blog?
No, I
It's
don't follow
it's,
much these
it's
days.
been running every first Friday of the month for almost 5
Well,
years. October
can we
will be
stop?
5 years.
that's really
Can we
good.
stop with the rough housing so I can pay you a compliment?
Hmm.
The time that you booked, I was there twice. I came in, I did like an opening set, and then you booked me again to do a headlining set. The headlining set, one of the best sets I've ever had in the entire 12 years I've been doing comedy. Yeah, it was a fully packed house, standing room only. You let me do like an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and 10 minutes, and we were
Was it
just
that
riffing.
long?
But yeah, and we were just riffing.
Really?
Yeah, because I invited my friends down who live in Coral Springs, my friend Rob and Tom, and they came over and they were like, "Are they normally over an hour like that?" And I'm like, "No, normally it's like 30 to 40 minutes tops."
Yeah, usually
40
45 at the most.
Yeah, but you let me keep going because it was crushing and it was killing and everybody was having a good time. You know, and I got a beach in the parking lot after that, so everything was
I
perfect.
remember hearing
You
about
remember that one?
Hey,
Yeah,
you weren't supposed to tell anybody about that.
Was I at the
that
Was it
didn't
good?
work without the wiping of the lips, you know. But no, it was great.
The
Had an
venue has
excellent
actually
time.
been rearranged a little bit now. So the comedy is on the other side. All the games are on the one side where we normally did the show. So now it's more of like dinner and a show on one side of the bar. So it's actually
even better.
I don't think I've performed on the show since it's moved to the other side.
All I know is it was, I don't know, top 12, top 10 maybe of shows I've ever performed. And it was awesome and amazing and great. And I'm glad you still have it.
Each time.
I'm glad you still have it.
So has comedy taken you on any travels? I know it has. Tell us about it.
Like I said, the LA and Vegas are the only two places out of Florida that I've performed.
How was Vegas?
It was fun. It was Skankfest Comedy Festival, and I knew the guy that was kind of like running the show that is constantly doing comedians, because there's like multiple stages, and that stage is only for stand up back to back to back to back. There's other stages doing specials and podcasts, but that stage was
I like that
5-7 minutes back to back all day.
I like that he's been out of the state twice to do comedy. Once to do Skankfest, the other one was at the Comedy Store. Like,
that's crazy.
The Comedy Store is the mecca, and that's where you started at.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So,
even if it was just a minute, it took me like 7, 8 years to get to the Comedy Store.
Well, it's not like I got booked on the Comedy Store. It was like I went to the Comedy Store and I signed up for
That's
the
the
bucket
beauty of
bowl.
Kill Tony.
Yeah.
So,
Well, but
not
still,
anymore, because now it's the Comedy Mothership is where it's at.
yeah, that's where you
So-
would go.
yeah.
You've been to Austin
Yeah.
yet?
Haven't been to Texas at all.
So what's been your favorite moment or proudest moment as a comedian?
Well, the recent comedy roast for my 40th birthday was pretty fucking awesome. We had a great time. Aside from that, I want to say one of my favorite memorable moments was probably at Brews Room and just doing open mic. Some guy walked up to me after the set and gave me $20, which I thought was pretty fucking cool.
That's
Like some dude gave me $20 after a 5-minute
open mic and make
I know,
money.
right? A 5-minute
Yeah.
open mic set. Some dude gave me $20.
That's pretty dope.
You never gotten tipped, Gio?
What's that?
Maybe, but
No?
I don't remember. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe like after a show, I feel like not an open mic.
It wasn't like a tip in a bucket where I got some of it. It was the guy came
No,
up
I know.
directly, which was
Yeah, and just
Like
handed
someone's
you and was
done
like,
me
you
like
earned
that.
this.
I
Yeah.
definitely got
I've had
that.
people do that.
But
I've had people do that where they came up and they're like, you earned this. And I'm
at
like, you're really
private
drunk.
shows, yeah.
Was he drunk?
well, it's Brews Room, so we're all drunk, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
My guy was
Are
drunk
you
too.
trying to diminish my accomplishment right now?
No,
Like,
no,
of
I'm trying to
course,
say
a
it's
drunk guy
great.
would give
And
me $20 because he's inebriated.
Brett, what's been your biggest challenge as a comedian?
Overcoming the misogynistic labels you put on me and being a white man in comedy.
But seriously,
Kind of tough.
well,
It's kind of tough.
misogynistic, you did say that she sucked dick to the top. I mean, you said
Facts are misogynistic now? I mean,
that's not facts, dude. Just
you
because
think,
she
you
sucked,
think she's never sucked a dick? Is that what you're
I
saying?
think if she did, that's
so
between
any
her and
woman
her
that sucked a
consenting
dick that gets
partner.
to the top, she sucked her dick the way it to the top.
When you suck the dick of a man that's 30 years older
But a
than you,
man
that
don't
he's
eat
the
pussy
governor.
the way to the top. A man don't eat pussy the way to the
Hey, hey,
A
whoa,
woman has
whoa,
to be
whoa, whoa.
above him to eat
So
pussy
you
to get
don't
a.
want to answer the question seriously.
I'm
You
saying
don't
your
have-
question doesn't make any sense.
So your challenges are your hearing. Okay, got it.
I'm hearing you. It just doesn't make sense because you're trying to flip it.
No,
If
I
a man
asked
eats pussy, that's how JFK got to the top, by eating pussy.
What
I
is
didn't
your
say
biggest- What's your biggest challenge doing comedy? That's what I asked you.
You know, following you, I guess.
Oh goodness.
The biggest
Goodness.
challenge, I guess. Sometimes you get writer's block. You gotta break that wall and get out of your groove. Like sometimes you get into that. Oh, I got this 10, this 5, this 15-minute set, and I'm just doing that over and over again. I'm not writing, so I have to find something new to talk about, and you have to throw that away. And another challenge is overcoming whatever Gio's got playing in the background.
I don't even
That
know
is
what
a challenge.
Yeah.
Alexa, turn off my Samsung TV. That come on.
Great. Now the government knows that your Samsung is off.
All right. So I'm sorry. Anyway, I finally got him to answer the question and then fucking TV turns on. Jesus. All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, where your day job, what's your day job? Do you have any other projects, any family you want to tell us about?
Well, family, both of the women in my life are dead, as of recently.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, my sister just died, so
No,
nobody else in my immediate family that's of concern. But
You don't talk to your dad?
no. Funny thing, he just showed up to one of my 40th birthday shows, and I told the owner, like, if he makes a fucking peep or has a goddamn outburst that makes anybody uncomfortable, kick him the fuck out.
Okay.
Wow.
Literally never even spoke to him while he was there.
Wow. Okay.
So what you're saying is you have a good home life.
Yeah. Everyone
Well,
in my family is either dead or dead to me. You know what I mean? You know what I'm
sounds
saying?
Well, I'm sorry to hear about your sister. I'll just say that and leave it.
That's not good. That's all right.
So
We had a great relationship. But as far as where I'm from, I grew up in Maryland for first 20 years, 19 or 18, I moved to South Florida. Orlando first to go to MMI. Then I moved down here in 2005 to South Florida. Work on boats. That's what I do all day, every day. Work on boats. Other projects going on.
You got a podcast or like show?
I've muddled around thoughts of a podcast, but I've been just feel like I'm too busy doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Just never really put the time in to get it off the ground.
All right.
Nothing super.
Well, let me ask you this. You said everyone in your family is either dead or dead to you. Is that because they also don't agree about Kamala Harris sucking her dick to the top?
What?
I said, is that also because they didn't share your views on Kamala Harris?
Oh, I'm sure my dad would love to get his dick sucked by a black woman. I don't know.
Oh, God. I cannot.
Who wouldn't?
But he's not in a position of power, so I don't think she would do it.
Hey, well, let me tell you something. If any woman sucking my dick, the last thing I'm thinking about is what color her skin is. I'm just thinking, don't forget to work the balls, you know?
Let me just say something, Brett. Black women do not suck dick. Okay.
I've heard.
We don't even do it. And
The only black women I've been with have sucked dick. So
yeah, me too. Me too. I've been with two, and
I
both
think
of
it's
them
just the
did.
prudes.
So are you ready to play the blame game?
Oh, let's do it.
You do not identify as a conservative. Who's to blame?
Conservatives. Was there fucking?
I think
wrong?
maybe.
Thank you. Why you vote?
I think maybe your lies are because you're pretty
That's what I was saying.
conservative, dude. Yeah, you're pretty
She
conservative.
called me a conservative. I said I'm a terrible conservative. I've never voted for a conservative president ever.
I was like, I want a conservative perspective on the show, considering everything. He goes, well, where are you gonna get this conservative? Bitch, shut up. You
Wait, so in 2020, what'd you vote for Biden?
Yeah, I was wondering who she was going to bring on for this conservative perspective.
Answer the question. He know how to deflect from answering the question.
Yeah, he does. That's that Fox
I
News
didn't
thing.
entertain your ridiculous question.
No, he voted third party or something.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah,
So-
you said you put in cinnamon or
Tulsi.
something.
I
Tulsi.
voted for
well-
Tulsi, which was a Democrat, and then in the generals, they were both libertarian.
Well,
But
you know,
I am not very
feel,
excited about the libertarian candidate this year.
Who is
well,
it?
I'll tell you what, the reason I asked is because I feel you. Because everyone
No, he's independent.
Okay.
in my family, even my extended family, they're all staunch Republicans. Some of them are hard right-wing conservatives. But most of my friends in my life are liberal, and some of them are way left-wing liberal. I am looking at you, Gio. But I
I ain't
stand.
even as left as they come, bitch. Go ahead.
I know you're not, but
I've lost
you
friends
live in
lefter
their
than
you live in their neighborhood. But maybe you don't go to the barbecues, but you're in the neighborhood. And I stand directly in the middle. And here's the thing: I get hate from both sides. The left calls me right wing. The right wingers call me a liberal. Like nobody gets it.
Is what I call you. Okay.
Oh yeah, because I use my brain. Oh my bad.
So do you have anything coming up you'd like to promote, Brett? Shows, your social medias?
Yeah, the social medias are all Brett A. Morris, 2 T's in Brett, 2 R's in Morris.
Brett Morris.
Yeah, they were giving out free letters, so I got 2 of each. All 3 of my names have 2 letters, Brett Aaron Morris. But I have 2 monthly shows and a weekly open mic. Are you stretching? What are you doing?
No, look at
Oh.
how
Oh.
it looks like that's a whole.
Yeah, I got a monthly show, first Friday of the month, Jesse's Extreme Sports Bar, which is still going, by the way, Terry. If you come back down, let me know in advance.
Sure.
Last Saturday of the month is Brendan's Sports Pub show.
Saturday.
Yep, last Saturday.
Oh, you got a show at Brendan's in addition to the mic.
And then a mic on Tuesday nights.
Okay.
You know, where there's no other mics around on a Tuesday, you know.
Well, now Nick got a new mic on Tuesday.
Dude, there's like fucking 7 mics.
Oh,
on a
okay.
Tuesday.
You were being sarcastic.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic.
Yeah.
If it's the first Tuesday of the month, there's 7 at least in South Florida. So come to mine. You get discounts.
All right,
There you
that's it.
All right.
Don't you have one more show? Are you missing one? Okay.
No,
All
not
right.
my show. I might be on one, but
Oh, okay, okay. Do you have any shows coming up that you're booked on that you want to?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, then that will bring us to Terry Wayne's words for white people. Terry, what you
That's
got for
right.
white people after all these?
Mr. Spineless over here because I refuse to be anybody's fanboy. We are going to talk. This is a big point that's been going around ever since the RNC, but it's actually been mentioned quite a bit on Fox News and Newsmax over the last call it 6 months, which is migrants and crime. Just as Brett was saying earlier, let's talk about the border. All right, let's talk about the border, and let's talk about it with numbers, facts, and not feelings. Like, yeah, you can get a CNN crew or a Fox News crew to go down there with drones and take some overhead shots, take some overhead pictures when it looks crazy. But let me ask you something as a reasonable person. If it bleeds, it leads. So they're going to always find the worst thing to show you. And then you naturally, as a human being, are going to assume it's all like that. I have been through the border. I have driven the entire thing from Los Angeles to South Florida, all the way down the southern border. I got stopped 3 different times by Border Patrol when I was even probably 25 miles from the actual border. What they did was they stopped using truck scale. If you've ever seen a truck scale that weighs the trucks out, they just decommissioned a bunch of those and they divert the entire interstate highway over there, and then they run a dog around your car. But here's the thing, they're not looking for drugs. Do you know how I know this? Because I had drugs in my car at the time. But that's not, I had some pot and some brownies and some edibles and some actual physical, flower weed that I was on a big road trip, and I had kept it from when I was in California and from when I was in Washington State. And it was in the truck, and it was in the trunk, and it kind of freaked me out because I'm like, this dog's going to find it. And I said, is there a concern? I said, I'm not moving drugs or anything. And he goes, no, these dogs are trained to smell for people. Like they are looking for people trying to sneak over the border in trunks and things like that. So to say that we're not doing anything is insane, because we were doing that when I did that in 2015, 9 years ago. Also, if we're going to talk about real facts and figures, nobody on either side of the political aisle has passed any meaningful immigration legislation since Ronald Reagan's first term. Not Clinton, not Obama, not Bush again, and not Trump, and not Biden. The only one we've ever tried to push since that first one with Reagan was the one that just got overturned by the House, because let's face facts, Trump said he wanted to use it as a campaign argument. That he said it, man. He said it openly. He said, don't accept this bill. Anyway, but he also promises, as part of the Project 2025, that there will be a mass deportation. If you don't believe me, go back and watch the Republican National Convention. They're all holding big signs that says mass deportation 2025. They're all holding the signs in the audience. He's saying the words into a microphone on video. Like there's no conspiracy theory to be had. He's talking about deportating 2 million migrant workers in the first year of his presidency. And I hope that if he wins, and I hope he doesn't do that, because I don't know if our economy can survive it. I mean, unless you want to pay $25 a pound for tomatoes, then I would highly, highly recommend keeping the workers in these farming areas that are the only ones that will do that job for what they're paying. Because neither you nor I, Brett, will go out there for $25 a day and pick vegetables and fruit in the blazing hot sun, because more than 80% of our produce is too fragile to be machine picked.
Those are black jobs,
You
Tara.
you can't well, they used to be. You can't harvest. I'm in the South. I get reminders all the time. But you can't machine those, you can't bring mechanization in to replace those yet. But if you want to talk about destroying our economy overnight, the fastest way to do that is to remove every migrant worker from the country. So just remember that when you get all feverish about that. And not to mention, according to every study I looked at, the highest percentage of criminal convictions when it comes to migrants is still 45% less than those who are Native American or natively born Americans. No, I'm sorry, those that are natively born American.
Like, damn.
Well, and there's a reason for that when you think about it. There's a reason for that when you think about it. It's because they are worried about getting deported, because they know if they commit a crime, they're out.
Yeah.
So they're talking about their entire livelihood. They're talking about uprooting their family. They're talking about, I mean, these are real disasters. And you just don't have that logically or reasonably from a person that's already on pins and needles. And I say this as a man who had a wife who was technically an immigrant. Now, she wasn't from a shithole country, quote unquote. She was from Germany. But I still had to go through that process with the Department of Naturalization and the Department of Homeland Security. We had to show them emails back and forth that we had sent while we were first dating. We had to show them pictures of our vacations. We had to verify with testimony from friends and family that it wasn't a sham and it wasn't. So whenever somebody says, oh, we don't even have a border policy, we don't even have an immigration policy, I'm like, why don't you try it? Because it was 2 years and $5,000 that came right out of my pocket to do just that. So it's not that we're not doing nothing. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that there's no problem at the southern border. I'm saying that the problems that are there are being blown up, making mountains out of molehills, making mountains out of molehills for political reasons, because of all the people in the world, it scares the people in the Midwest the worst, which are the people who need the migrant workers the most. Why don't you go down to your local, and just in conclusion, why don't you go down to your local high school and see how many of those kids you can get to go out there and help you with your crops? Because you ain't going to find them. But Jorge, who's here illegally, will be more than happy to do it.
Yep. I mean, yeah, I agree. Those ain't
That's just the fact. That's just the statistics.
Immigrant jobs now, and it's because it's such a low wage. You
It's not just
you can't afford to live in America on that wage unless you're grouping together. Because the way the immigrants do is when they come, they group together with other immigrants.
It's not just America. Every first world successful country on the planet does the exact same thing. They just have different names for them. If you go to Germany, France, it's Hungarians. Oh, we'll bring in some Hungarians. They'll do your kitchen remodel real cheap. You know what I mean? So it happens everywhere. But you need them. You need those people.
All right. I will jump in here. Brett, just again, when's your next upcoming gig?
It'll be Tuesday's the open mic, and then the Saturday, the 27th, is the next show.
Tuesday at Brendan's is the open mic. And then the 27th, that's next Saturday. That is the
Brendan's
show at Brendan's. And then for myself, I have coming up this week, tomorrow, Wednesday, I'm gonna be on the panel at Swampgrass Willie's for the Comedy Now Productions event that they're having. It's a lot like Kill Tony, but you know, I'm gonna be on the panel, so, and I'll probably be performing. And then Thursday, I am doing Now Me and Brian Drolet, friend of the show, host an open mic at Jesse's Extreme, where Brett has a monthly show. And hopefully we will not have it on the same week.
Thursday bi-weekly open mic.
Yeah,
right?
ours is bi-weekly open mic. And then at the end of the month, just because I'm not sure when we're gonna hop back on. The 30th is our O'Shea's mic. That is next Tuesday. And that's in West Palm. So other than that, we love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. We had to get on here. You know, we're a political podcast. We talk about politics all the time. And I think I had the perfect guest, even though I want to fight him after we get off of here. I think he was a good opposition.
Well, we went half an hour over, so yeah, it was probably
and that's what we do
good
at the Blame
episode.
Girl podcast.
That's why I didn't say anything about the immigration, because we would have gone for another fucking hour.
I think we could just
Hey,
not stop.
The math is simple. You definitely need them.
All right. Good night, guys.